Okay, so today I have a quick public service announcement. If any of you out there are welding or using maybe a grinding wheel or weed whacking or really doing anything that potentially could get something in your eye, make sure that you are using proper eye protection because I had a pretty close call this week that I'm going to talk about. So this past Thursday, I was working on my truck. I was using my handheld grinding wheel to grind a little bit of metal from my wheel well to allow for more tire clearance. Well, I wasn't using eye protection and I ended up getting something in my eye, which I thought was just a spark. Well, that was Thursday, but come Saturday, my eye was hurting so bad. It kept watering. I had a little bit of blurry vision, had a lot of pain in my eye. So I ended up deciding to go to Med Express that Saturday morning. They took a look at my eye and determined that I did have a piece of metal in my eye. So they ended up putting these numbing drops in my eye, and they started with a little cotton swab, rubbing my eye to get some of the metal out. And that wasn't working that great, so they ended up using a little needle and started scraping my eye, and that got a lot of the metal out. But it didn't get all of it out, and they said that they couldn't get any more with their limited resources. So they said that I would have to go see a specialist. But being a Saturday, there was no one open. So I ended up calling several offices, everyone was closed, and I just figured I would have to wait till Monday. Well, at that point, I'm starting to worry a little bit. I'm starting to feel a little anxiety, a little fear. I'm worrying about my eye, whether I'm going to have any further damage. I was just starting to panic a little bit. But I decided I was going to call one of these local doctors in my area and just leave them a voicemail so that maybe Monday morning they would get it first thing. After that, I started to do what I've always known to do, which is pray. I ended up praying for healing. My wife was praying for me. I even reached out to a couple friends at my church, and they ended up praying for me as well. Well, later that Saturday night, I ended up getting a phone call from the receptionist, and she told me that the doctor decided to go into the office to do some random paperwork, and he got my voicemail message, and he said if I can get there pretty quick, he would take a look at my eye. So my wife and I jumped in the truck, and we ran straight to the doctor. It was so weird because he ended up letting us in the back door. Everything was closed. The lights were down. I just felt so happy that he was willing to go out of his way to see me. So he sat me down. He put these like weird yellow drops in my eye, looked at my eye through this machine with a light, and he determined that a lot of the metal was gone, but he said I still had a cylinder of rust 3 layers deep in my cornea. Now, at that point, for about 2 seconds, my heart started beating so fast and I started to panic. But he calmly told me, don't worry about it. I'm going to get you taken care of. And at that point, I immediately felt a sense of calmness. So the doctor went and got some numbing drops, put them in my eye. He then ended up pulling out this little mini drill looking tool that the tip just looked like a little thin brush, like a drill bit, but it was shaped like a brush. And he basically said he has to go into my cornea and drill out the rust. He basically just took the drill bit and gently drilled out all the rust out of my eye. And it took him about 3 attempts, but after the 3rd attempt, he got it all done. And then he told me I'm done and then I'm going to be just fine. And I was prescribed prescription eye drops that look like this. I think it's called ofloxacin. But he just said, continue taking your eye drops over the next couple of days and you're going to be perfectly fine. And today is about 2 days later and I have full vision and I don't have any problems with my eye. As you can see, it's a little red still, but I could see perfectly fine and I have no issues. But the doctor did say that if I would have waited till Monday to get my eye looked at, that rust could have gotten deeper into my eye and caused a bigger problem. So I have 2 takeaways for all of you out there. Number 1, have faith. Because when you have a relationship with Christ and you ask, you shall receive. And number 2, wear proper eye protection. Don't be a dummy like me.